Breaking news, ayon sa nauunang tali, Donald Trump ay nananalo na sa eleksyon sa pagkapresidente sa Amerika kontra sa dating Vice President Kamala Harris. Narito ang ulat, atin panuurin.
And welcome to Election Night in America 2024, where Vice President Kamala Harris will take on former President Donald Trump. After a hard-fought campaign, it's all come down to tonight, where voters will cast their ballots to elect the 47th President of the United States. In Georgia, Donald Trump is the projected winner of the state's 16 electoral votes. This is a big victory for the former president. It's a state that he lost in the last election, but today he's on track to flip Georgia back and win it by just under a 2-point margin. The peach state will go red once again. However, in Virginia, we have our first ever victory for Kamala Harris, 13 electoral votes going to the vice president. She's going to win the state by just under a 2-point margin, despite Joe Biden having won the state by a double-digit margin 4 years ago. Starting off in North Carolina, we can project that Donald Trump is on track to win the state for a third time in a row after winning it in both 2016 and 2020. Trump will win the Tar Heel state's 16 electoral votes by a 2-point margin, expanding from his 1.3% margin against Joe Biden in the last election. Was an Obama state back in 2012, but Trump has won it in all 3 of the last 3 elections now. Looking at the margin, he'll carry the state by just under 11 points. And then in West Virginia, one of the most conservative states in the country, Donald Trump, the projected winner of its 4 electoral votes. And so now after the second poll closing of the night, Trump expands his lead. He's now at 81 electoral votes. Kamala Harris remains at just 16. Starting off in Alabama, Donald Trump is the projected winner of the state's 9 electoral votes, while Connecticut will go to the vice president, who is going to win the state's 7 electoral votes. And then in President Biden's home state of Delaware, Kamala Harris, the projected winner of its 3 electoral votes, but she's only going to win the state by 12 percentage points. And then in the District of Columbia, which has never voted Republican in its 60-year history of participating in presidential elections, Kamala Harris, of course, the projected winner of its 3 electoral votes. Trump will once again win Maine's 2nd congressional district and its 1 electoral vote. In solid blue Maryland, Kamala Harris will come out on top, winning its 10 electoral votes. She'll also win Massachusetts, another safe blue state. Kamala Harris, the projected winner of its 11 electoral votes. In Mississippi, Donald Trump is the projected winner, winning its 6 electoral votes. He'll also carry Missouri and an additional 10 electoral votes. Arkansas. Obviously, Donald Trump is the projected winner. He's going to win Arkansas and its 6 electoral votes. This puts him up now at 180 electoral votes, just 90 away from the presidency. It's now 3 hours from midnight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Voting will end in the states of Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, New York, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. This is the 2nd largest poll closing of the night. This time by his largest margin yet, 11.2%. In Kansas, Donald Trump, the projected winner, winning its 6 electoral votes. He'll also come out on top in Louisiana, carrying its 8 electoral votes. Trump will also win Michigan and its 15 electoral votes. This is a huge victory for the former president. It's a state that he lost by 3 points to Joe Biden in the last election. It's the most liberal of all the swing states, but Trump will emerge victorious, defeating Kamala Harris by 1.1%, a state he won back in 2016 against Hillary Clinton by a margin of just 0.2. And so a loss in Michigan is a huge blow to the Kamala Harris campaign. However, the vice president is going to win Minnesota and its 10 electoral votes. This is the home state of Governor Tim Walz. Harris will carry the state by just 4 points, despite Joe Biden having won it by 7 back in 2020. And then in Nebraska, Donald Trump is the winner of 4 out of the state's 5 split electoral votes, winning the state at large as well as its 1st and 3rd districts. While the 2nd district is going to go to Kamala Harris, she's going to win its 1 electoral vote by a 2-point margin. And then in Wisconsin, another big victory for the former president. Donald Trump will win Wisconsin and its 10 electoral votes. This is another huge blow for Kamala Harris. Trump is going to win Wisconsin by just under half a percentage point. It is definitely competitive. Tim Walz has definitely given Harris a boost here, but it seems that has not been enough. Donald Trump will win Wisconsin back, a state he won in 2016, but lost in 2020. And then finally, in Wyoming, Donald Trump, the projected winner of its 3 electoral votes. And so at this hour, we can make a major projection. Donald Trump has been elected the 47th president of the United States, defeating Kamala Harris to succeed Joe Biden in the White House on January 20th, 2025. This marks the first time in over a century that a former president is re-elected into the office. After his victories in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is at 289 electoral votes, well over the 270 threshold. Kamala Harris at just 148. It's a pretty early call, but Trump is the clear winner of this election. It's now 10 p.m. on the East Coast, and voting has officially ended in Montana, Nevada, and Utah. In Montana, Donald Trump is the projected winner, winning the state's 4 electoral votes. He'll also carry Nevada. This is another major victory for Trump. It's a state that no Republican has won since 2004, but Trump is going to carry the silver state in this election, winning its 6 electoral votes by just under a 1-point margin. This is a momentous flip for the former president. And finally, in Utah, Donald Trump once again the projected winner, carrying an additional 6 electoral votes. This will put Trump up at 305 electoral votes. Harris remains at 148.